we're just gonna ignore all that light behind me. So I'm not feeling the greatest today. Yesterday was a really long day. I was not home for most of it, and so I knew I wasn't gonna feel very great today, but it is more than I was expecting, and I feel like I'm dying. Last night was the Iron Maiden concert. It was fine, like, it was good. They are really, really good performers. Like, I'm always blown away at how they can put on a show, and I'm actually wearing the shirt I got there as well today. But both my husband and I do agree that the first concert we saw of them is definitely the best of the two that we have seen. Because last night, like, if you're gonna stand and jump around and headbang and move around and sing and everything, don't buy seat tickets. Like, don't do that. Not everyone around you can stand for the entire concert like that. That's why there's a huge ass standing area and then seats. But yeah, there was this group of 4 people. Luckily, they weren't directly in front of us, but, like, I could see them on this side, and I found it incredibly distracting. Most of the time, it was just the 2 guys, but literally the entire concert, they were literally jumping around and singing the lyrics and everything, which I know it's a concert, people do that, but, like, I want to hear the performer, not the person next to me singing. And just, like, throwing fists and headbanging and everything, which all of that is completely fine at a concert. Like, that is encouraged. But you do that where you're supposed to do that. Yeah, I just found it really distracting and a bit annoying. And at one point, the 2 girls that were with them stood up and did it too. And so then they were blocking Toma. And luckily, the spot next to me was empty. So we just kind of moved down one. And the person sitting next to him moved down too, because he was blocked, like, the entire freaking concert by these people standing in front of him. And it's just like, God, I'm surprised no one said anything. All I can say is I'm glad they were not in front of us. Like, that would have just ruined the entire thing. So yeah, it was okay. Those people kind of were annoying a bit. But I've definitely noticed I'm not a fan of concerts in huge freaking arenas like that. Because, like, even with the screens, I felt like I couldn't see anything. Like, it's literally just like ants performing on a stage. And even though the first time we saw them was the Accor Hotel's arena, I feel like that's so much smaller, and we've seen multiple concerts there and have never had a problem with seeing. So I think it's just these, like, huge thousands and thousands and thousands of people capacity ones, because we've been to Stade de France once before for a Muse concert, and I felt the same there. It's just too far. Like, even with screens, you just cannot see what the hell is happening. But anyway, I learned something major about Les Miserables today. So I'm part of this book group on Facebook, which, yeah, I know Facebook, but whatever, I don't care. And someone had posted they had picked up, like, a used copy of Les Miserables and had started reading it. And someone posted in the comments about how their favorite version of the book is the 1998 movie with Liam Neeson. And I was like, there's a Les Miserables movie with Liam Neeson? What? And I have no idea how I've never heard of this before. And I think it's because growing up, I was obsessed with the musical and a very particular filming of the musical. And I never really cared to see if there were just straight up movie versions. Because to me, Les Mis equals musical. And it's just something I've never looked up. Like, obviously I know about the 2012 movie, because whenever I talk about, like, the movie version, that's the one I'm referring to on here. But it just caught me so off guard. I was like, what? So I looked it up, and it's from 1998, which is probably another reason why I hadn't heard of it. But Liam Neeson is freaking Jean Valjean. Then there's Jeffrey Rush as Javert, which I was like, what? And then I see Uma Thurman was freaking Fantine. And so it's just like, it kept going and going of like, what? And I watched the trailer of it, and it looks freaking horrible. But so I googled, like, all of the film versions of Les Miserables, and so I'm going to say all of the years, and there is only one that isn't a movie, but I will remark when that is the case. But there's a lot more than I expected. So these are all just titled Les Miserables, and are all film adaptations, except for the one. So 1909, 1917, 1925, 34, 35, 44, 48, 52, 58, 1967, which was a TV series, 78, 82, 95, 98, and then the 2012 film. And it's just like, holy shit, I did not know all of these existed. Like, I'm just so surprised. And honestly, I kind of feel like a film adaptation would be a bit boring, but I don't know. I was reading about the 1998 film, and there's some parts of it where right away I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. But they show the trial in Arras, or however the hell you say it, and that's a scene that I would like to see. So I feel like seeing like clips of these would be interesting, but as a whole might not be. I mean, also since I've seen it a million times in the musical as well, and it's a lot of sirens going on right now. So yeah, if you're interested in a film adaptation, I would recommend checking those out. I might look up a few of them just to kind of see like what their poster looks like, but yeah, that I was not expecting that. But if I find some of the posters, I'll try and like pop them up here just to show. So yeah, now I'm going to read my chapter for the day, so I will be back momentarily.
Look at those teefies! Such teefies! This freaking animal. Gosh. I want to sleep like this. I want to sleep with reckless abandon.
So this was actually the last chapter of book 6, and pretty much Marius is a creep. He resorts to stalking them, like following them home to see where they live, and of course he still thinks Cosette's name is frickin' Ursula because he's a dumbass. So for literally a week straight, he fucking follows them home and waits like under the windows and stuff. And he literally fucking followed them into the house and asked, like, it said the porter, and I don't know if that's like a doorman or something. Marius asked, like, the gentleman that just came in, like, is he the man that lives on the first floor? And the guy's like, no, the third floor. And so Marius stands outside literally looking at, like, the third floor windows with the lights on and stuff, and is a fucking creeper. And so they stop going to the Luxembourg Gardens because Jean Valjean knows what's up. And eventually the light is gone in the windows, and after a few days of that, Marius asks the porter again. He's like, they fucking left, dude. And he's now obviously like distraught and everything, but that's pretty much how it ends, is the guy just being like, nah, I don't know where they are. So next is book 7, which is called Patron Minette, and I'm not exactly sure what that is, but the first chapter is called Mines and Miners. I think it's just going to be talking about some stuff in general with the town, but this book is very short. It's only 4 chapters long, and then it looks like we get back to Marius, because the first chapter of book 8 is called Looking for a Girl in a Hat. Marius encounters a man in a cap. It seems like we're just taking this weird detour, maybe about Paris or something, based on what I'm seeing, so I'll find out more about that tomorrow, but luckily that's shorter because I was a little scared looking at that and being like, crap, is this what people have warned about? So that's all for Les Mis today. This morning I had my ortho appointment. They just had to change one bracket on my tooth, and the older guy was there today, and he's the one that speaks English, so I asked him how much longer he thinks the treatment is going to be, and he said like winter/end of the year. They're basically trying to straighten just this one canine tooth of mine, and I think that's the last part. So fingers crossed, because that would be 2 years of me having braces. So yeah, I don't really want them much longer than that. So tomorrow we are going to play D&D Curse of Strahd, and it might be one of the last times we get to play that at our friend's house, I just realized. And that because the next day is their kind of like going away party, and this is the end of June. Yeah, and he has to start work in Dublin July 4th. So yeah, I think this might be one of the last times we go over to their place. That is so weird to think about. I don't know anything beyond Wednesday because it's going to be a new month. And I don't really want to think about it because I am exhausted right now. So until tomorrow. I look like I'm very sweaty, but I'm not. And I don't know why that is. But I'm freaking tired. Yesterday, what was yesterday? What is today even? Is today Wednesday? Okay, today's Wednesday, yesterday was Tuesday, which means I've only filmed on Monday. Okay, my whole week has been messed up for the days. I've been like a day ahead each day this week. Like yesterday, I almost filmed my monthly wrap up, but then I was like, wait, it's only Tuesday. I don't have to do that till tomorrow. So yeah, everything's been a little chaotic. Last night we had our Curse of Strahd D&D campaign. And then tonight I'm going back to those same friend's house because it's like their going away party since they will be moving very shortly. And I'm pretty much like, it's about 5 p.m. here and the party is like starting at 7, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to go anymore just because I'm introverted and I don't like social situations and I'm not going to know a lot of the people. But there's going to be pizza, so I'm going for pizza and for my friends. So, oh yeah, also Ori's there. He has now gotten into the habit of sleeping over there. Oh yeah, I just, brain isn't working. Did the application for that new Squid Game show. They're making a reality show out of the Netflix show, basically. And I figured, why not? Might as well apply. I mean, the worst they're gonna say is no, which, I mean, you won't even get a response for that. So, I mean, that's all done, and that was a lot more intensive than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I did that, and now I'm about to read my chapter of Les Miserables. I did not read one yesterday. We actually got back from D&D later than we expected we would, and I just like kind of went straight to bed. So I did not read that chapter. So depending on the length of the chapters, I might read 2 now, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go do that now.
Oh my god! Why is your eye so creepy?
So I'm halfway through the second chapter, and I fucking hate this book. I forgot we were at the start of book 7, and that it's this weird shit that has nothing to do. Like, can we just go back to Marius being a fucking stalker? Like, that's a lot more interesting than this. So the first chapter is something about miners and being underground and all these levels, and I'm like, are we talking about Dante? What the fuck is happening here? And then the second chapter is called The Lowest Level, where the first one was miners and something. And there's a sentence here I'm going to read out loud. This is on page 621. And I already lost it. Okay, it says, hunger and thirst are the point of departure, and to be Satan is the final goal. What the fuck are we talking about here? Like, the previous chapter listed all these, like, philosophers and how they build upon each other and descend lower and lower, and now I just really don't understand. Is this like the 9 circles of hell? What is happening here? So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this book very much. Alright, I just finished it and we're getting very philosophical here. Like, the second to last paragraph ends with, the real threat to society is darkness. This is page 622, by the way, and I'm going to read this whole last paragraph here. It says, humanity is our common lot. All men are made of the same clay. There is no difference, at least here on earth, in the fate assigned to us. We come of the same void, inhabit the same flesh, are dissolved in the same ashes, but ignorance infecting the human substance turns it black, and that incurable blackness, gaining possession of the soul, becomes evil. Okay then, I guess, if you say so. Like oh no. The next chapter, I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these. And the only name I recognize is Montparnasse, because it's literally Montparnasse Tower here in Paris. But it's like Babette, Gulmer, oh my god, Clacoussou, and Montparnasse. So these are all names. And yeah, I'm gonna have to ask Toma about these because what the fuck, I cannot pronounce this. But until tomorrow then. I'm going to start out today immediately by talking about the Les Miserables chapters. I just read 2 because I didn't get to read the one yesterday. And I'm done with book, goodness, there's fur everywhere. 7, I believe it is. Yes. And so book 7 was really short. It was just the 4 chapters total. And these last 2 chapters are just talking about these 4 guys that have to do with the Paris underground. Like, the first chapter is just kind of describing their characteristics. Like, the first one is built like Hercules. The second one is the exact opposite. They say you can, like, see through his bones and stuff because he's, like, so emaciated and stuff. The third one only goes out at night. Like, he leaves his house at dusk and comes back at dawn. And the fourth one's a murderer. And the fourth one is the youngest. I think he's only, like, 18, they said. And pretty much these 4 make up the title of this book. The Patron Minette, I think it was. Let me double check. Yeah, Patron Minette. And so that's kind of like the name this group goes by. And that's what the second chapter talks about, is how the police refer to them as such. And then it literally just lists a bunch of names of their associates in, like, the criminal underworld. but also the second chapter. This is on page 624. They were not 4 men, but a sort of 4-headed monster preying wholesale on Paris, a monstrous embodiment of evil lurking in the catacombs of society. Because, like, one of the guys, I guess, the murderer one, he literally kills for clothes. Like, he wants to dress well, but he's poor, and so that's why he murders people, apparently. But that's really pretty much all these 2 chapters are about. I have no idea what the relevance these people have on the rest of the story. I kind of glanced through the names, but they are very confusing names. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to kind of show that or not, but they are very complicated names that I'm not going to try to pronounce. And the only one I recognize is there's one who has an alias of Monsieur Dupont, and I feel like that name is familiar, but I don't know if it's just because it's a French name in general, or it's because I've seen it earlier in the book. So we'll probably see later on if this has any relevance to the freaking story. But now into book 8, so I'll be starting that tomorrow, and it's called The Noxious Poor, if I can freaking talk. And this is the chapter where I like the title, Looking for a Girl in a Hat, Marius encounters a man in a cap. So I'm looking forward to starting that, because it seems like it's gonna be more Marius shenanigans and stuff, and these seem like pretty short chapters, so I'll probably read more than one a day until I get to this one, which seems pretty long. But I wonder how many books are in this part, because I feel like book 8 is the furthest it's gone so far in the section, so we will see. So that's where I'm at so far in Les Miserables. I did not film yesterday because I was not feeling well at all. Tuesday and Wednesday evening were a lot of socializing for me, so Thursday I was just completely spent, didn't want to see anyone, didn't want to talk to anyone, and also my body was like, everything hurt from being out of the house so much. So just was not up to any of that yesterday. Today's probably the best day I felt out of the past 3 days, actually. And Wednesday evening, I ended up not filming anything from the party because it was actually a lot more low-key than I was expecting. And I didn't know a lot of the people, so I wasn't really comfortable, like, filming them. And pretty much it was people just playing the VR game Beat Saber or just, like, separating in small groups and talking. Like, that was about it. It was pretty chill. I was there for just over 4 hours, I think, and I got home about midnight. So it was a chill evening, but it was still very, very mentally and physically draining for me. And then tomorrow is already freaking Saturday. Gosh, my days have been all messed up this week. I've been a day ahead, and so I've had a really difficult time remembering what freaking day we're on. But tomorrow is supposed to be the book club meeting for June's book, actually, but only myself and the person that runs the book club have said they're going, so I literally just sent her a message a little bit ago asking if she wants to just cancel it, because, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm really frustrated with that book club at the moment, just because people will vote for books and vote for a date for the meeting and no one ever shows up. And I've even started posting in those, like, polls and everything, like, please only vote if you plan on reading the book. Please only vote if you plan on going to the meeting. And people vote and don't show up. So, yeah, it's just getting to a point where I'm like, do I even bother reading the books now? Because no one is going to be there to talk about them with. And that's what sucks, because, like, the reason I enjoy this book club is usually books are picked where I normally wouldn't pick them on my own, and so it's broadening, like, my reading scope. And I read to discuss books with people. And so if I read a book that I end up not liking, or I know I'm not really going to be into, with the purpose of discussing with people, and then no one shows up to discuss it with, it's just like, that completely defeats the purpose. And so I end up kind of feeling like I wasted my time. But July and August, we don't even have meetings, just because here everyone goes away for the summer, especially August. Like, August, literally a lot of restaurants and places will just be straight up closed for that entire month, because it's pretty much anticipation for everyone coming back for school in September. But tomorrow, one thing I do want to do is, that sounded funny. There's an American bakery here. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. But tomorrow, all of their sales for that day, all of the proceeds from that, they are donating to Planned Parenthood because of the Roe versus Wade decision that just happened in the US. So I do want to go to that bakery and buy some stuff to support that cause, and knowing that my money is going to a good place. So that's pretty much the plan for now. I'll probably check in a bit tomorrow and close out the vlog then. But this is definitely a more boring and just kind of slower week. I feel like I've just been expending all of my mental, like, social, physical energy doing things, and then just kind of crashing the next day. So not as many clips as usual. Today is actually Monday, not Saturday. The weekend was pretty odd. It didn't exactly go as planned, and I wasn't feeling great either. So I didn't film like I had wanted to there. So it is now Monday, and I just want to film an end clip for this video, so thank you for hanging out with me. It is always appreciated. And until next time, bonne journée and au revoir!